And then, so we did that. So that was April 10th. Now on May 10th, Mr. Giuliani began trading aborted calls with Kash Patel. What I think the aborted calls are a signal, just like Rudy did to Devin. Call records show that around midday on May 10th, Mr. Giuliani began trading aborted calls with Kash Patel. I don't know Kash. Mr. Giuliani, Rudy, why are you sending aborted calls to Kash? Why are you sending aborted calls to Kash? To say that they're on. That, is this with Zelensky? Yes. Changes in the air with Zelensky. We're going to give him nightmares because of our secrets going on. Yep, we are separating him from the money. It's on. So Kash, you got aborted calls from Giuliani. What did you take that to mean, Kash? What did you take that to mean from Giuliani, Rudy? You took that to mean that there is an angry, despondent king somewhere from a fool. Is this Lev or Irv? Lev and Irv, who are going to go to jail because of what they're causing. Trump dynasty. So he just took the aborted call from Giuliani as a signal that this gaslighting disinformation thing was on. Okay. Kash is an official at the National Security Council who previously served with ranking member Devin Nunes on the staff on the Intelligence Committee. Mr. Patel successfully connected with Mr. Giuliani less than an hour after Mr. Giuliani's cell with Ambassador Volker. I don't know when they talked. Beginning at 3:23 p.m. Eastern Time, Mr. Patel and Mr. Giuliani spoke for over 25 minutes. 5 minutes after Patel and Mr. Giuliani disconnected, an unidentified -1 number connected with Mr. Giuliani for over 17 minutes. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Giuliani spoke with Mr. Parnas for approximately 12 minutes. Okie doke. Tell me. Rudy talked to Ambassador Volker, and then Mr. Patel talked to Rudy. What did Rudy and Volker talk about? What did Rudy and Ambassador Volker talk about? The endings change, I assume, with the Biden campaign. Endings and change. The action that was being taken on behalf of the Trump dynasty and the Republican Party. The root of this is to change people's perception. It is a disinformation op. And the challenge is to end Joe Biden's new money, Trump, Russia. Oh, no, this is sanctioning. Okay. Yeah, so this is all, they talked about Donald. They talked about the Trump clan in their attempts to wanting to end, put an end of support to Ukraine. So That's what Volcker and Giuliani talked about. What then did Patel and Giuliani talk about? Just a minute, puppy dog. What then did Giuliani and Cash talk about after that discussion? They talked about the disappointment, sadness. I feel like they're laughing. Oh, it's so disappointing. I'm so sad. Transmitting information far away across seas on behalf of Donald to end something on behalf of Trump Russia. What is this disappointment is about? Five of Swords. This is the mafia. Oh, I don't think someone can do something. Someone is unable to do something. It's very emotional. They're going to try to make it happen. Oh, there's Facebook. There is an app going there. Because their security is threatened. The oligarch security is threatened. That's what they're sad about. Their comfort and security, because Zelensky is now president and they have to figure out ways to end this thing. So that's what Cash and Giuliani talked about. So Cash got the word. "5 minutes after Patel and Giuliani disconnected, an unidentified number connected with Mr. Giuliani." Who called Mr. Giuliani for over 17 minutes? Who called Mr. Giuliani for 17 minutes? Who called Mr. Giuliani for 17? Someone with Russian strength. It's covered in trying to balance the money, balance the narrative, and their challenge is getting justice done the way they want it to get done. Giuliani, at the very root of this conversation with Giuliani was lies, disinformation, an op to just cut off everything. Money, aid, Biden campaign. What's crowning in this for everyone to see is the devil. It is Putin. So they talked about what Putin wants and how they're going to do it, because in the past, the Republican Party, they were all elected. They all had the majorities. They don't anymore. And they face judgment in the elections as such. People are pissed off at them. So this -1 number connected with Giuliani. How do we see this person that called Giuliani? Pages up. That's Lev. That's Lev. Lev Parnas is the Page of Swords. That was Lev Parnas. Number one. But then it says Giuliani spoke with Parnas for 12 minutes after that. So Page of Swords, then this is this Irv? Those two yahoos. Or it's another mafioso. It's another freaking mafioso, Russian type. It's not Lev because Giuliani talks with him again. It's someone else who's in on it. It might be Irv. The environment of this person calling is getting the data, getting the plans, getting the propaganda ready. The hope in their discussions with this person is to create heartache, and their fear is that they won't be able to stop Zelensky, that they won't be able to stop Biden. The next step is they're just going to wreak havoc and cause nightmares for everybody. Because we have an angry Putin, or it's an MBS, is really having a problem with what's going on in Ukraine. And the Empress, remember, is my card for Trump Russia. Just a second. There you go. Oops, sorry. Okay. So I'm going to gather that this is Irv Furman, or it could be his brother Steve Furman, because his brother Steve, nobody is talking about this, but Irv, even though he's like a Russian or Ukrainian born national, I guess, he had a brother in New York, Steve, who was also arrested. So it's one of those yahoos. So then Giuliani spoke with Mr. Parnas, Lev, the Russian mafioso, for about 12 minutes. Now, Rudy, what did you talk to Lev about for 12 minutes after getting off that conversation? You talked about so much disappointment, so depressed, covered in the White House is very disappointed in what is happening, because the challenge is these mafiosos, they're not able to go scorched earth and win by breaking all the rules. This is how bad the polling is. This is how bad things are. Last May, and I'll attach it again here, I did a reading about this time, May 10th, that Pascal was afraid of Biden because he could not get the data, the propaganda to flip against Biden. Trump was incensed about what he was very panicked then. And that was in May. And this is when these calls happened. The White House is really disappointed that the mafiosos can't get it done, because at the root of this is his agreement with Putin. What's crowning this for everyone to see is the great big mystery that's going on and affecting the world and everything that they do. Because in the past, Donald made an offer with a great idea on what he was going to do with Ukraine's aid money. And how do we see Giuliani talking with Lev about candidate Donald, who's not happy? The environment is one of retreat, trying to shut this thing down, trying to just retreat from this big mess, because it's getting big and bad. It's getting to be kind of a monster. And how to do this stuff discreetly, stealth-wise, which obviously they didn't. Their hope in their discussions were being able to take action on behalf of crybaby POTUS. Their fear was, oh my gosh, they weren't going to be able to offer enough. There wouldn't be enough to pay. There wouldn't be enough to get it done. Remember when Rudy butt dialed that guy about money? There was issues about money. They were afraid they weren't going to have money. And so the next thing to come after Rudy spoke with Lev was Six Wands Mob. Let's get Trump, Putin, Unji, Netanyahu, MBS. Oh my gosh. That's because Six Wands Mob is also involved, because they need to keep Netanyahu in power in Israel, because their elections are coming up at the end of the month. And what happens is that Kushner, I think, gets bad Facebook data to hand off. And that's why Netanyahu lost the election. And that's why MBS kind of went rogue and things went quiet between him and Donald for a while, because MBS was just so incensed what happened with the fallout with Khashoggi. All that was going on. And the final result from this discussion with Mr. Parnas was, look at all that money that we can't touch. Look at all that data. We have a heap of money, a heap of things to do, and nothing to show for it, except our gaslighting and going on news stations. There you go. I should be the newscaster, right? Okay, thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I was just very curious and had to answer those questions. Okay, thanks.